I don't know if Robert Luna is an anarchist like George Gascon is. I don't know that. I'm not accusing him of that, but I can say right now, it doesn't seem like he has the least bit of moral courage. And again, going back to the phrase that you used.
He's a man with no convictions. The only thing that's important for him is whatever keeps him in the job, in the good graces of the progressive political establishment. That's why you hear language about relationships and collaboration. And at the end of the day, as I stand before, I mean, all these weird way that he speaks, and he's got beta written all over him. And the job of sheriff is a job. It's an alpha job. It requires moral clarity. It requires conviction. It requires values that you can espouse and instill on your entire workforce to say, hey, this is what we're doing. And yes, we're going to honor the rule of law. We're going to seek justice and fairness in everything we do and make sure the world's a safer place. And if there's something that's in the way, we're going to call it out. We're just not going to, well, let's just not touch that one because it's inconvenient. No, if it's something that's holding the community down, is harming the community, like the MTA, for example, let's call it out. I did a wage theft task force, another one. We put a big thing together with the state labor commissioners. We got a deputy DA assigned to us. And I mean, it was a big show that we put together. It wasn't just a show, it was actually starting to be able to get operationalized all the patrol stations, handle complaints of wage theft from people that don't speak English, for example. And so we can prosecute these cases and get money back and start recovering money.
Mhm.
Everyone ignored it. The Times ignored it. They spent enough time a year later to poke fun that very few people know about it. When, of course, maybe they could have just said, hey, this is what we did. But again, it didn't fit the narrative. But
Mhm.
that's $26 million a week is stolen in LA County. It's stolen from the people that can least afford to lose their wages. These are people struggling to make ends meet. And they're the ones that are primarily the most vulnerable victims of wage theft.
It's astounding. Something I touched on from time to time in the show is that when you look across the country, some of the true leaders, I say some, not all, but some of the true leaders in law enforcement are sheriffs. And the reason is because they're almost always elected. It's one thing if you are chief of police or you're, colonel of this, state trooper agency, you're appointed. So you're pretty much an at will employee. Not so with sheriffs, because you are directly responsible to the people that you serve, not to your boss. And of course, I mean, you are. I mean, we understand that. What I'm saying is that the people that elected you are the ones that can reelect you or not reelect you for whatever reason. And this is why I don't. And this is why we see leadership in sheriff's departments and by elected sheriffs because they can speak their mind. They can
Mhm.
speak completely like you did for 4 years, completely truthfully from their point of view. Speak their mind. They have that authority. One would think one would think that if Luna really believed that this guy should receive the death penalty, he could have said it and he could have preached that to the citizens of Los Angeles County. Here's why I think that this guy should be subject to the death penalty. And he could say, there's any number of political, avenues of wiggle room with Gascon. Hey, I agree with the DA on a lot of things. We work together on this one, though. There's any number of strategies you can use. And I don't understand why on something like this, you simply can't say what you know is right.
I'll give you a quote from Gil Cedillo, of all people. I met him in 2019, I think my first year on the job. And I visited him at LA City Hall. And he told me, he was older than I am at the time. And he said, well, son, you can be a reformer or you can be reelected. You can't be both. And I thought,
Well
you know
said.
what? I would more than happy to be a reformer. And if the citizens don't reelect me, I'm not going to lose sleep over it because I'm doing the right thing for the right reason. People that get reelected, well, you can see what their work product looks like. Look at the governor, look at the mayor, look at everybody, because
Look at
their number one
California.
job, It's all about getting reelected. It's not about doing your job. If you do your job, don't worry about the elections.